You could turn anything in life into something if you just keep showing up.
I'm scared that I'm not enough. I believe that I can do more.
Yep.
I have the impulse control to be able to keep me focused and keep me moving forward.
What if I can take over the world? Are there other people like me that are driven by wanting to take over the world?
And, this is the lonely chapter, right? This is why the movement away from your existing friend group. This is Neo, you've already been down that road. You know where it leads. You know you don't want to go there.
I want this big thing, but I haven't broken that thing down into what I can actually do. Once you get specific into the actions, you don't have a lot of anxiety because you can see what is required in order to get it.
When you're trapped, some of it's your own inadequacy. What you can do to begin with is every bloody thing you possibly can do to put yourself in the most virtuous and powerful negotiating position possible.
You're not afraid of failing. You're afraid of what other people will think of you if you fail. But if you're afraid of that, imagine what they think of you when you aren't even trying. Oh yeah, they aren't. Unchosen suffering is going to happen, right? So the only thing that you can do is have some chosen suffering to prepare for it.
It's the only thing you can do. That's the only thing you can practice for the unchosen suffering. It's that chosen suffering. Do something that sucks every day.
A lot of self-work can be summarized into thoughts aren't true, feelings don't require actions, things aren't good or bad, they just are. Our greatest enemy is ignorance. To change your life, change your surroundings. Our actions, not our pasts, define who we are. The advantage of running a shit business that doesn't reach many people is that not many people saw your shit business. And that's when you're starting out. People that are concerned about becoming a content creator. I'm worried about starting a podcast because what if everyone sees how shit my podcast is? It's like, dude, no one's going to see your shit podcast.
Victims see their past as their fate. Champions see their past as their origin story. And so a lot of people are living through their origin story right now, or they're living through the very reason that they'll never be successful, but it could be the exact same situation.
It's how you handle your sufferings. When you're going through something really challenging, how do you show up within it? Do you choose to become a victim of complaining and misery and shitty, or do you find meaning in how you show up in the suffering,
I want to remind you of something, okay? And you don't need reminded of it, but I'm going to remind you, anyhow, life is hard. Okay, fellas, life is hard. It's always been hard from the beginning, and it will always be hard.
If everybody who's like at the bottom and feels like they have nothing going for them, reframe that as I have nothing going for me, which also means that I have nothing to lose by taking action, it makes you a much more dangerous person. And I think that was the flip that I've had repeatedly shown to me in my life that allowed me to take the step that I was afraid to take.
I'd rather die. I would rather die than be that loser guy. Kill me! Do you want to walk out the door a damn loser, or do you want to walk out the door a winner? I'll fight to the death. It sounds crazy, but you got to give it that much if you want results. Otherwise, you'll be like everybody else. The majority of the population, they think they're training hard. That was hard.
A friendly reminder that in 3 generations, everyone who knew us will be dead, including the people whose opinions stopped you from doing what you wanted all along. Imagine that someone you know achieves every dream and hits every goal they have. Years later, they get old and die. 2 years after that, how much do you care? About as much as everyone else will if you accomplish your goals and dreams. Do it for you. The difference between focusing on inputs and focusing on outcomes. Right. Yeah. If you optimize for outcomes, the inputs are always optimized. But if you optimize for inputs, you go, what did I actually get done at the end of the day? So the person that does do the productivity rain dance and it takes ages, and everyone's done this. Everyone's got a blank piece of paper in front of them and they end up washing dishes that they never use. Or, the weirdest tasks become alluring because of that. Focusing on outcomes. It seems like, especially with confidence, right, or self-esteem, there's a relationship between confidence and competence. Mm-hmm. So what you're looking to do is try and have what you believe that you can do be ahead of what you can do. Right. Now, you're not looking for it to be delusional. You don't want it to be able to believe that you can do something like fly, right? But you need to have a relationship between the two. But what people are asking for is for their confidence to be so far ahead of their competence that or without having even been competent at anything in the beginning. And that's just delusion. That's fantasy.
I didn't need to deserve success, but I could still have it if I did the things that created success. And so it felt like a cheat code where I was like, I can actually be a shitty person and horrible and suck at everything. But if I still work out and I still eat this way, I can still look this way, even though I don't deserve it. And that was like the first, it actually felt like, I was like, for anybody who hates themselves, you can hear me. That was like my first big shade, my first solace, my first foothold that I started getting on success was that I didn't need to deserve it. I could still have it anyways.
I had that vision very clearly laid out. I was so happy that I knew exactly where I was going. From that moment on, everything that I did, no matter how hard I had to work or how much I had to struggle, it didn't matter. It was a wonderful joyride because I knew what the purpose was and I found my passion. The simple truth is, if you don't have a vision, if you don't have a goal, if you don't see your future laid out in front of you, you're just floating around without a purpose.
Being able to think for yourself and treating it like a muscle, I think, is a smart way to consider it, because in the beginning it's really, really hard. You've been resting on societal norms and the way you've dealt with past trauma and your parents' expectations and what all of your friends do and what's accepted and all of this stuff for so long, that when it first comes to you needing to step on that muscle, it's like trying to move your ears. Like, all humans have got muscles that can move their ears, but because no one works it as a child, they just atrophy away. And this is the ear muscle of personal growth.
Let me tell you, if someone told me that something is impossible, I will go out and do it. That's just the way I always was. I was told to my face, you're nothing but a giant muscle. You can't act. You have no future, and you have an accent that is laughable. Ignore the naysayers. Work like hell. Trust yourself. Break some rules. Don't be afraid to fail. I've made a fortune in several careers, and I've been very successful in several careers by believing in myself.
I would say before what you're looking out for, it's what you're putting out. You know, the law of, I don't understand the law of attraction exactly how it is, but what you put out, you attract. If you're being your authentic self, our buzzword today, you're being your true self, you're speaking about what's really important to you, you're putting out the energy that you care about, that you want to get back into the world, and you're being real, you're going to get that back. If you're putting on a show and you're chasing these inauthentic goals that are for other people or to keep up with society or pressures or parents or whatever it might be, you're going to start attracting people who are attracted to those goals and that energy, which isn't your real self.
You can't always win, but don't be afraid of making decisions. You can't be paralyzed by fear or failure, or you will never push yourself. You keep pushing because you believe in yourself and in your vision. And you know that it is the right thing to do, and success will come. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't listen to the naysayers. I mean, how many times have you heard that you can't do this and you can't do that and it has never been done before? I hear this all the time. As a matter of fact, I love it when someone says, no one has ever done this before, because then when I do it, that means that I'm the first one that has done it. So pay no attention to the people that say it can't be done.
And this is what I mean by patient with your outputs, impatient with your inputs. And the crazy thing is that you can change your life in one decision. I can get drunk, drive in a car, and change my life forever, right? It can happen like that. But it can happen just like that the other way. It's just that the outcome's delayed. That's the only difference. You can change your life today in this moment by making these decisions, and your life path will have veered. You will have changed direction. Your tree of life will move. It's just that it takes time for that new direction to bear fruit. Whereas you can poison the fruit in a second. You can kill a tree real fast. You just can't grow one real fast. But it doesn't mean that if a seed's planted and you're watering it, it's not growing. It just takes a second to get above the surface.
And I sat there and I had time to reflect back on my life. Being bullied, coming from nothing, learning disability, messed up foundation. Life isn't fair at all. At all. So what are you gonna do about it? I knew that no one was coming back to help me. No one was gonna miracle me to be somebody special. Everybody that called me nigger, my dad, my mom, all my situations were on me now. And solely on me. So I had to start developing an indestructible mental toolbox. So I sat there on that couch and I realized, man, I am a piece of shit. And even though the world helped me get here, my false reality helped me even more.
I mean, it drives me absolutely nuts when people say, I don't have time to work out. Haven't you heard that many times? I don't have time to work out, or I have worked so hard all day, I'm tired, I cannot work out anymore. Or I cannot read another book, or I cannot improve myself, or I don't have time, or I work so hard that I cannot really improve my business, or I cannot grow as a person, or any of those things. What the hell are we talking about here? I mean, the day is 24 hours, you sleep 6 hours, so you have 18 hours left. I mean, I know there's some of you out there that say, well, wait a minute, I sleep actually 8 hours, but that's just sleep faster, okay? You didn't, I mean, let's not get bogged down with this stuff here.
I don't like my job. I'm miserable there. Okay, does that mean I walk in tomorrow morning and say, hey boss, I hate it here, I quit? No, it doesn't mean that. It means I say, okay, I'm gonna start putting my resume together. I'm gonna start checking out LinkedIn. I'm gonna start seeing what qualifications I might need that could improve my ability to get a new job. Once I've done that, I'm gonna start sending out my resume. I'm gonna start building some relationships with some people. And now I look up and I get another job offer. So I didn't make a crazy short-term emotional decision. I made a slow, progressive, iterative decision-making process that led me from a situation that I didn't like to an opportunity that seems more promising. And this could apply to just about anything.
So I think about death all the time because it's probably the central theme. It's probably the thing that I think the most about. And I think that influences how I see time and also how I think, how it influences agency. Like what actions I'm willing to take despite the judgment of others. And so a lot of times, and it might be because I have more insecurity than everyone, that I think like, man, I want to do this thing. And then I hear all these other voices of reasons why I shouldn't do it, or why somebody else will say like, that's bad, or you're bad, or like, that's wrong, whatever. And so I think I've had to come up with a lot of these devices to get around my own insecurities, to take action despite those insecurities. And the biggest one that I think about is that it doesn't matter whether I achieve all of my goals or I don't achieve all of the goals. In 3 generations, I'll be forgotten, and the only people who were naysaying against me will also be dead. And so then it's like, just do it for me.
Extreme ownership is, this went wrong, this failed, didn't accomplish this, and it's not the fault of my boss, it's not the fault of my girlfriend, it's not the fault of my parents, it's not the fault of the weather, it's my fault. And I'm gonna take ownership of it, and I'm gonna fix it. That's what extreme ownership is. And this is a very difficult thing to do because it hurts. Because when you look around at your life, and you look around at your job and your financial situation and your relationship and your physical health, and when you look at all those things and all the problems that you may have with those things, and you say, the reason I have all those problems is because of me, that can hurt. That can sting. And a lot of times our ego rejects that and makes excuses and lies. And then we don't have to change anything. And then nothing changes.
And that was when like the reality of the situation of like, there was no escape. There was no one who was going to come to save me. And I couldn't blame my dad. I couldn't blame my mom. I was the one who had chosen this life. But the alternative was that I had to go back to my father, a failure, and have him look me in the eyes and say, I told you, and come here, don't worry about it. I told you this gym stuff, this fitness stuff, this starting your own business, it's for later. It's fine. Just go back. Hey, you've got this great degree. Just go to the business school to do the thing. And I knew exactly what had happened. But what would have happened after that is that for the rest of my life, he would have had absolute authority over everything that I did. And that felt like death. And so that was what I ran away from when I was in that moment. Like whenever I felt like my back was against the wall and I didn't know what to do, and it felt like the Instagram reels of like the motivation weren't going to get me through what I was going through because no one cared that I was sleeping alone. I let them know I'm sleeping on the floor. And a month later, when you're still sleeping on the floor, everyone's like, don't care. Like, great. You're pursuing your dream, right?
We all live in this world where our brains are keeping us in this box. Outside that box, on the other edge of suffering, which is on the other edge of that 40%, is a world that's endless of opportunity. But we are afraid to go outside that box because in that box is comfortable. That's where all of our nice stuff, that's where the nice 4-lane highway's at. I know where the restrooms are at. I know where the gas stations are at. Outside that box, man, God gives you a shovel and says, man, start digging. That's not fun. But when you dig your own path to all kind of stuff that's unknown. And that's why I started realizing, man, like on the other end of this is some beautiful stuff. So I got outside my box and realized, man, 300 pounds, now look at me, I'm 185 pounds, and on the other side of the box was all this stuff. And I didn't know it was over there until I climbed the wall and saw it.
So what wall are you climbing now?
Man, right now, I've climbed a lot of walls. There's no more walls anymore. The reason why is because I know how to climb.
When we talk about mindset and beliefs, we talk about limiting beliefs as sort of being the ceiling of your potential. How you think about yourself, whether positively or negatively, that's probably what your potential is. How do you stretch your beliefs and make sure you are continually pushing the boundaries of your comfort zone and your capabilities?
I just dream. I dream. I have dreams, and dreams is they should be pure. I think a lot of times, when we're born into this world, we actually wind up going backwards. And it seems like the more we mature, the more responsible our dreams become, and the more governors we put on ourselves and our ability to dream and to reimagine. And it's always a fight for us parents and for you guys to make sure that your dreams always stay pure. And so it's not a matter of pushing beyond your limitations or expectations. It's really a matter of protecting your dreams, protecting your imagination. That's really the key. And when you do that, then the world just seems limitless.
If you think back to all the negative situations you had, like the really, really bad ones, when you expand the time horizon, most times they become net wins. And so then it just means that, like, if you're in a really tough time right now, you just gotta wait. and then you'll get your reference point back on all the things that changed as a result, because most times when shit is bad, it can't get worse. So then you feel like, well, it can't get worse than this. And then your action threshold decreases and you do all the things you know you should have done anyways. And so it's like we have this big stack of should do's and we just wait until it's 2 miles.
Yep.
And then I'm getting
in the car.
Like the firing conversation. And you're like, well, I just fired one person, or like I just ended one partnership, I just broke up with one girl, or whatever it is. And you're like, who else do I need to talk to today? Right? Like, and then in like a period, like you have these rapid periods of growth that happen, and then you have the next web of comfort because it's way better than you were before.
Yep.
And I think I wonder, this is more just like an open thought, but like, I wonder how long like more successful people stay in that next plateau. Like, I wonder if their threshold for
action stays low.
Yeah, they're I'm getting comfort, like how quickly they get comfortable into like, I need to change, I need to get better.
I think specifically nowadays, it's so easy to numb. There's so many distractions, so many things that we can just avoid feeling things with, staple being your phone. You want to cry, you fight your tears, you're feeling stressed, you're overthinking something, so you just pull up Instagram and you doom scroll for 20 minutes, you get distracted, you see a funny video of a cat, close your phone and you forget about it. That's not gone. Those feelings are still there. They're just pushed down from a couple Instagram videos that are distracted. And next thing you know, a couple days go by and you just feel this anxiety over yourself. And you're like, why do I feel anxious? I just feel like I can't sleep and wake up at 5 a.m. overthinking. Like, I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. People are like, well, are you stressed about anything? Like, no. And this is something that I've had to call myself out on. If you ask me if I'm stressed half the time, my answer is no. Are you stressed? No, I'm fine. I feel great. And then if you look at me, you're like, do you feel calm? Do you feel at ease? Do you feel relaxed? I'd be like, fuck no. So where am I feeling? And for some reason, stress to me is like numb, but it's stress, so I don't really feel it. And it's typically from not allowing myself to lean into the shitty times, the shitty thoughts, the shitty days, and being able to sit with them and be with them, accept what they are, and process them properly, rather than just numbing them.
We all can create change, whether it is in our neighborhood, or in our local schools, or in our country. It can be big, but it can also be as little as just going to a school kid that has problems reading and teaching that kids how to read or how to do math. We don't have to just work on me. We should also work on we. Not just me, but also we. Remember that. To lead a truly full life, you must give back. You must leave the world a better place than you found it. Because the bottom line is, it is up to us. I mean, those rules that I've given you are important rules, but giving back is one of the most important rules. I guarantee you that if you follow all of those rules, you will have many victories to celebrate. And you will leave, your work, and you will have extraordinary kind of a record, and you will leave a legacy behind that you can be proud of. So I want you to remember those rules. Have a vision. Think big. Ignore the naysayers. Work your ass off and give back and change the world. Because if not us, who? If not now, when? Thank you very much. Thank you.
You have to separate you feeling something and you acting on that feeling, because you may feel hopeless many, many times, but you need to continue to do the activities that are aligned with your goal. You may feel hungry, but you need to not eat the cookie to stay aligned with your goal. You may feel angry, but know that retaliating at your coworker has no likely positive outcome. You may hate your boss, but undermining them in front of the team may make you feel good in the moment, but again, destroy your long-term career prospects. And so I think creating a gap. And so I was talking to one of our CEOs who was having a little bit of stress issue, and I said, I want you to think that you're a Yeti can. I want you to think you're one of these cans that has a vacuum between both walls. I was like, you got your feelings on one side, you've got your internal temperature, and you've got your external temperature. And I was like, I just want you to do this. Just create space, and space within the context of behavior is time, which is when I feel something and I have the desire to act on it, at that moment, you have the lowest action threshold, which means that you're the highest likelihood of behaving or doing something is when you have this feeling. And so I want to make as logical of decisions as I possibly can. Hopefully, we're all aligned on the fact that logical decisions in general work out better than illogical decisions. And so if we make logical decisions on a regular basis, then we'll have longer term outcomes. If we want to increase the likelihood that our decisions in general are logical, then we want to create space between when we feel and when we do.
That drives the pain, the weakness, the fuck out of your body. Brings in the pride and the strength. Headstrong. We just added fuel to that. We're believers now. We just killed ourselves. And it feels fucking good. The pain leaves. What comes in? Pride. Fucking natural high. That you're actually doing something. You're making a difference in your life. That fuels the fire. To be headstrong, believing in what you're doing, no matter what the disbeliefs of the third party, subjective losers are out there. That then sends it to your heart, so it beats like a champion. When all this fails, here and here continues to strive past. Reach barriers no one's been to, especially you. Path less taken, the one that leads to character, legacy. That's where that shit's found. It's not found sitting on the couch. This shit brings it out. Makes you that C4. This is the tension, the pressure of life, combined with inside what your head's saying, your heart's believing. Boom! Birth of a new you. That's fucking living. You think what is this shit? You think I pissed myself? Fuck no. All this shit right here is the old me. The weaker me, getting the fuck out. The stronger portion inside myself says we don't need you anymore. Stop being the fucking parasite. No longer is there a free ride for your ass. Get the fuck out. Everything I talked about, 3 Hell Weeks, Ranger School, running, swimming, I did triple Ironmans, I did all kind of crap. And when I got to about 33, 34 years old, I started being extremely sick. When you have an ASD, and so ASD is atrial septal defect, a lot of us are born with a hole in our heart. When we get to a certain age, it closes. Mine was very large. So basically, the good blood would get with the bad blood. So the oxygenated blood would be deoxygenated, and so the bad blood was going through my body. Long story short. And that's how I was doing everything. And so they sent me to Johns Hopkins. Everybody studied my body. They studied everything. And one guy says, you know what? We can't find anything on how you did all this. How are you able to do all this? A head guy came in from MIT, and he said, you know how he did it? Understand something, people. We are leaving a lot on the table. My book is called Can't Hurt Me. Why is it called Can't Hurt Me? Life isn't fair. We have to understand that. It shouldn't be fair. It's a trial ground, it's a testing ground. It's built to make us harder. It's built to make us as strong as we can, to test us, to drive us. So, mentality is the only thing that gets us through life. I was an underdog. We are all underdogs in life. Even the baddest person in the world should think that way. So you should always have I've never arrived mentality. And the can't hurt me mentality is no matter where you come from, the sewer or wherever you think you're from. When I got out of the sewer, I got to the road and looked around and said, can't hurt me. Nothing should be able to hurt you. If you believe that, it starts to become true.
I think what makes life more difficult for people is the judgment they have on themselves about what they believe they're supposed to do or supposed to have achieved, or that this condition or this thing that happened is good or bad, or it should have been good or it should have been badder. And the story of the boy with the horse in the village, I'll tell it in 30 seconds, which is dad gets kid a horse and everybody in the village says, that's amazing. The old man says, we'll see. And then the kid is riding the horse and he breaks his leg and everyone in this town says, oh, that's so horrible. And the old man says, we'll see. And then the army comes to town to take all of the young men to war and the kid can't go because his leg is broken. And everyone says, that's amazing. And the old man says, we'll see. And the thing is that as we continue to play out the timeline of life, we can't know if anything is good or bad until the day we die. And the day we die won't matter because we'll be dead. And so it means that at the end of the day, all of the things that occur simply occur. And for me, reminding myself of that I think this is bad or I think this is good, it limits the peaks and it also limits the valleys. And saying, this just is. And I think it's, in my opinion, absolute acceptance of the world without casting judgment on it. And it's difficult to do because we all want to make judgments and we have to make judgments in order to live. We have to approximate this is a good decision, bad decision. This is a decision that will increase the likelihood that what I want to have happen will happen. But most of the good bads that we have that are coming up are not for our own benefit, are not aligned with our goals. They're aligned with one person that told us something when we were 7 years old, and then we incorporated that and we say, oh, this is bad, because someone else, when we were a kid, like you hit your head and then you look at the adult and the adult says, that's bad. And you say, oh, it's bad. I'm going to cry now. Right. And so there are so many thousands and millions of those tiny judgments that are passed on to us that do not serve us. And so for me, it has been more beneficial to whitewash everything and then actively rebuild what I believe to be good or bad based on those things, but with a baseline reality that none of it is.
And so I'm just starting out in life. I don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing, but also one problem, a major problem that I think I have is forming discipline, staying disciplined in life.
Do you hear everything you just said?
Yes.
How old are you?
26.
And you don't know
where I'm going, what I'm doing, and I'm not disciplined.
So how the fuck am I supposed to help you? You don't ever walk up anywhere in fucking life at 26 or at 16 not having an idea what the fuck you want to do with your life. You're not gonna find it through coming to these fucking conventions. You're not gonna find it in a fucking book. You've got to sit down like I had to do around your age and think about what the fuck do you want to be? What do you want to do? How does that look like? Because how the fuck you can have discipline when you don't know where to put that shit?
Right.
That make sense?
Yes.
You gotta have shit in order. Plans, goals, destinies, journeys. And then all that shit falls into place. Every question you ask me will fall right the fuck in place once you fucking figure out first at 26. So why the fuck are you here? Why are you here with all these fucking people?
I wanted to be around the right group of people. This is my first, I wanted to be around the right group of people for the first time in my life. This is my first event ever. I've never been to anything like this in my life before.
That's awesome.
Yes. Thank you.
Go home, shut your phone off, shut the fucking TVs off, shut the world off, and tune into you. Straight up. I'm not trying to be a dick, man.
Yes.
I'm telling you, that's what I said. When you hear me talk, it's thick skin shit, man. You should hear the conversations I tell myself every fucking day. And it's this conversation right here that will change your fucking life. And this is how you gotta talk to yourself. All right?
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right, man.
I remember in the pumping iron days, people ask me in the gym all the time, why are you smiling all the time? Why are you so happy? You have to lift 50 tons of weights. You have to train 5 hours a day. I mean, I look at the other bodybuilders' faces and lifters' faces, and they look kind of depressing. They look sour. They're miserable that they have to lift weights. You don't look miserable, you look happy. And I tell them always, I say, I smile because I know exactly that every rep that I do, that every set that I do, every weight that I lift, I get one step closer to turning that vision of mine into reality and becoming that Mr. Universe. I could not wait to lift another 500 pounds in the squats. I could not wait to do another 1,000 sit-ups. I could not wait to do bench press, more bench press and more curls until I couldn't move my arms anymore. Because I knew that every rep got me closer to standing on that stage as a champion. As a matter of fact, when I lifted weights, I didn't really feel like I was lifting weights. I felt like I was lifting a trophy over my head each time I lifted. And to have all those bodybuilders around me and thousands of people screaming. And I tell you that this vision didn't just help me in bodybuilding, it helped me with everything, like I said. I remember in the movie business, there was many times stunts that I had to do where I got hurt, where I was in pain, in agony, and had to do it over and over again. I remember one incident specifically on Conan the Barbarian. There I was crawling on all four, on rocks, over rocks and gravel, holding my sword right in front of me. And as I was crawling, the camera followed me, and it was around 30 feet that I crawl on those rocks and this gravel. And eventually, after 10 takes, my elbows, my knees started bleeding and hurting. And the director came to me sheepishly and said to me, he says, do you mind if we do another take? I need a close-up of you. And I said to him, no, I don't mind at all. I said, go and do as many takes as you want. He says, no, I don't want to do that because I know you're in pain, you're bleeding. I said, no, I don't feel any pain. I said, the only thing I see is the finished scene. I see the finished scene of me crawling on all four with my sword in the front, crawling up and sneaking up behind Thulsa Doom, the main villain of the Conan movie that killed my parents, and rising up behind him and cutting his head off. That's what I see.
What do you mean when you say you cannot control the mind with the mind?
Yeah, that statement really emerges from the fact that if we are in a pretty relaxed state, or if we are happy, we generally feel like we can do what we want to do. We can maneuver through our environment. We can make choices that are reasonable. But oftentimes we're not in relaxed and happy states. That's just part of the human experience, obviously. And there's a fundamental feature to the nervous system, which is this thing they call the autonomic nervous system, which is just fancy nerd speak for the components of your nervous system that raise your levels of alertness or bring them way down. Sometimes we hear fight or flight, rest and digest, but this system governs all that, but a lot more. And basically what happens is when we are at the extremes of the autonomic, what I call seesaw, of very, very alert to the point of being really stressed or panicked or concerned, or if we are very close to sleep and we're drowsy and we're exhausted. At those points along the autonomic nervous system, our thoughts become a bit like a runaway train. You know, if you're very upset, it's hard to talk yourself out of it. If you're stressed, it's hard to think yourself out of it. In fact, you can start doing all sorts of third personing and rationalization. You can call someone, you can text somebody. It's very hard to get yourself out of those states with thinking alone. But the beauty of the autonomic nervous system is that it traverses the brain and the body, and it connects to essentially all the organs of the body. And it's a two-way street such that certain behaviors, even certain patterns of breathing, etc., allow us to shift where we are on the autonomic continuum between very, very alert and stressed and very calm, and thereby give our mind a shift also in terms of the kinds of thoughts that we can entertain, the sorts of actions that we can engage in. To make this concrete, if you're very, very stressed, you're very, very upset, two things happen. One, it's very hard to take your focus off whatever it is that's upsetting you. And if you don't know what's upsetting you, pure anxiety, but you don't know why, it's very hard to take your mind off of the feelings of anxiety. In those states of mind, there's another component, which is that for whatever reason, and no one really understands why this is, it feels as if the state that you're in will go on forever. Now, when we're in happy, relaxed states, rarely do we think, gosh, this is going to go on forever. And yet when we are in these unfortunate states of mind, we get the idea somehow, it sort of hijacks our perception of time, and we feel like this is never going to stop. If we turn to the body and certain behaviors, we talk about what those are, we are able to move ourselves along the autonomic continuum. And at that point, when we've done that successfully, and it's actually quite straightforward to do, we are able to think about things differently. We start to get a sense that the way we feel might not be the way we're going to feel forever. And it's in those shifts that we start to realize, my mind actually is not my best friend at these extremes, but there's a lot more to it. You're only getting the tip of the iceberg in those states. So that's why I say, if you can't control the mind with the mind, look to the body to control the mind.
Close your eyes. Go back to when you were a kid. Or close your eyes right now. Are you the kid hero right now? The kid inside of you, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever age you are, when you were a kid. Big dreams, big aspirations. Anything's possible. Every window's wide open to you. Have you let that shut? Or do you still believe it? If you now as an adult turn back to the kid at 8 years old, the same person, is that kid proud of you? Is that kid saying, that's who I want to be? If not, open your eyes and fix the motherfucker. Supremacy, the dictionary says, a superior state overriding current authority, power, or status in the walk of life you're in. That's a third-party subjective nature, third-party agreement that this person is superior to others. In order for that third party to say an individual is superior, the individual must believe in the first-person narrative that they are superior before anyone else buys the fact that they are superior. A belief must be so strong for a third party to buy that bitch. There is no excuse for not being the hardest worker. Yeah, someone might be bigger, stronger, faster, quicker, younger, whatever else, but there is no excuse to not be the hardest fucking worker there. And when you believe that you have the ability to do something, that the life that you're living right now is going down this direction, you fucking hate where it is, there is nothing else to do but to change direction. A belief that I cannot go that way anymore, I gotta go this way. And what do you have to lose? You know the outcome if you continue the same shit. Why not just commit one time in your life to something? See what happens. There are no losers in the world of passion and commitment to something. No one loses there. The losers are the people that sit at the starting line and never initiate. It's the belief that supremacy exists. There's so many examples in the Olympics, and every day we see the common man with the odds against them overcoming what people thought could never happen. And probably he didn't even think it. But there he stands victorious and a role model to all of us. Like, oh my God, we want to be him. But before he was him, he was us. What got him there was an undying belief. And every drop of sweat that came out, and every pain and ache and everything else was just a telltale sign that he's getting closer and closer to that dream that we were when we were a kid of being a reality. Why not believe in it? What's the other option? There is no other option. It's a life forgotten, man. In the acting world, if I go to the audition, I have a fucking chance of getting the part. If I don't go to the audition, I'm out of the game. I know the outcome. Nothing. Show up. Even if you get knocked on your ass, just show up. At least you have a possibility. You have a chance. You have a voice of doing something with your fucking life. Believe that supremacy exists. Believe it within you. Because every motherfucker that had ever achieved it had to believe it when everyone else said it wasn't possible. They said it fucking was. And there they stand. Boom, did it, bitch. Your turn. No longer are we gonna accept rhymes and society's rhyme the reason that we are average. Average is a weak mentality. We must believe it so much so that we're arrogant about it. We must be pissed off for excellence. Because last night I was moved to tears. That can happen. And it doesn't happen until you show up. And when you show up, you give it all you have. And if you fall and stumble, you fall forward. You don't fall backwards. You know, there comes a day, man. Everyone's gonna have this day. There comes a day where being average, being mediocre is just sickening to you. It's just sickening. It makes you want to throw up. Because you've seen people with far less talent than you. As you're growing up with them, their childhood buddies, whatever else, they didn't have what you had. Yet now they're fucking to become something that you haven't. There comes that day. It's either when you're young, you know, and it strikes you on the baseball field because you're sick of striking out. Or it's when you get fired from your 5th job, you know, and your wife and kids are on your ass because you don't know how to support them anymore. There comes a fucking day where push comes to shove. Where being mediocre and being like average and shit just fucking burns. It sucks so much. You can't deal with it one more day. And you get off your fucking ass. And you create something that's always been there. It's always been inside of you trying to come out. But you've never wanted to unwrap it because it's too much fucking pain and commitment. You were scared you were gonna fail. You were scared if you started, you never finish it. You didn't want to tell anyone about it. You knew it was there, but you never wanted to embark on it. Until something fucking hits. You get fired or somebody else gets success, remind you of what you could have been. And then the fucking spark is born. And no matter what happens, I'm never gonna be in this boat again. And you get up and you go, even if it gets knocked down, you just keep going, you're a wild man. And life has never been so sweet. That can happen at an early age, it can happen at a later age. It's gonna happen to somebody no matter what, it's gonna happen to you. And when it does happen to you, thank your lucky stars that finally you're alive. It's time to unwrap the potential you can be. Superior, man. It's within you. It's within every single one of us. And the people that have risen to that level were no different than any one of us. It's just they believed it and they were willing to work their fucking ass off to get it. It wasn't about the potential. It wasn't about the genetics. It was about the perseverance. And it wasn't about being the hardest fucking worker in the room. That's what got them there. And it didn't happen overnight. They got knocked down more than they ever stood up. But they kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going because what else is the alternative? To be average again. That sucks, man. And it really sucks when you've tasted success at one point in your life. When you have sex with a woman and it's the best sex ever, you want to have sex with her again. When you eat a fucking great juicy steak, man, you want to have that again. When you go out and you train hard to play baseball and you connect and you hit the winning home run, you want to feel that way again. When you taste these finer things of life, all the pain, all the work, all the sacrifice to get them is well worth it. If anything, it's a small down payment for the price and the reward you got and that feeling. And once felt, how do you ever turn your back on it? Stop running from the potential of what you can be, guys. It's inside of you. It's always been there. Grab a buddy of yours. Say, man, me and you are gonna fucking do this together. And you're gonna be on my ass if I start slacking. I'm gonna be on your ass if I start slacking. And I'll never accept mediocre again. I'm always gonna give it my 110 fucking percent. That's the only thing I can ever say a solid day's work. That's all that will ever find peace in. If you guys do not do that, I promise you, your life will haunt you for the rest of your days. If there's potential inside of you, which you know it's there, but you're too scared to tell anyone else about it, and you go on and on, get older and older and older and older, and the windows of opportunity start to close, and you knew it could have been given birth to, but you never did it, I promise you, it will haunt you. It's a living nightmare, dude. That fact that you had the ability to do something and you're too weak to fucking turn the key and start the engine on it is a greater disappointment and a greater burden to carry than any of this physical sweat equity or pain in the gym or sacrifice. All that is just nothing compared to a life where you're burdened by regret, guys. hope you guys get what the fuck I'm saying. I'm telling you what, man, once you get it, come on over this side of the fence, you don't see fucking problems anymore, man. You see situations. You see possibilities. And you can't wait to get them started, man. You're like, why did I wait so long to engage? It doesn't matter about the past. It's today. What are we doing today? Or are we going to engage now? And once we engage, we commit. There's no half commitment. There's no quarter commitment. There's no three-quarter. It's full commitment. Once we engage, it's every fucking day we engage. Because that's the better life. And the people you will surround yourself are like-minded. And they're better friends. Friends and family for life, man. They have your back. They're solid individuals doing solid tasks, leaving a solid impact of legacy for other people. That's a fucking solid life, man. It's your option, though. What are you gonna do? This is my fucking time! Get in line! What is chaos, guys? Chaos promotes change. That's what happens in our life. We get older, things happen, things are taken from us, things we earn, lose, everything happens. It's a change and revolving. It's a wave of life that you either surf or you get tumbled by. I'm always using metaphors, guys, so I got another one for you. This is called a coffee cup metaphor. Coffee cup that's in your hand. Your option. If you want to jingle that motherfucker, look for some loose change and beg it, or if you want to drink a latte in your fucking Maserati going down the street. Your option. Chaos, we create one or the other. You're either going to be the bum on the street or the guy, a millionaire in the hills. Your option. It's how you deal with chaos. There's chaos and there's fucking madness. The differential is one's done on your terms, the other ones are done against your ass. In here, we're gonna create the variable, create the chaos. What happens with chaos? Change. Our body isn't ready for it. Mentally, we've already designed it. We are in the driver's seat of this. It's either we go in there and create the chaos, or we come out here and have life dump it on us. It's gonna happen one way or the other. You either sip that latte or you shake it for a penny. You're always fighting for that edge, always fighting for that opportunity. So it's not past, it's not missed, but lived. We're not gonna cry about those opportunities. We're gonna smile, remember them, and thank God they came, because we were ready when they fucking came. You won't be ready if today isn't pushed with the strenuous nature and the pressure of the moment in the future that everything rides on. That stress of everybody on you, and it's a make or break moment in your life, must exist today with no one watching. If that's ever gonna happen your way, you need that X factor. You need that leg up. It's too fucking hard. They gave me some weird fucking looks and everything else. Fuck them. You think I even noticed that? You think I give a shit about it? You know, no, I'm here for my own reason. My belief, where I'm going. In here provides a betterment for me, a purpose for me being here. They don't exist. I don't give a shit if the girl's fucking butt naked, bent over with a wet pussy asking me to come over. I got work to do. Because if I get my work done right, I'll have a line of those motherfuckers to choose from if I do it right. I don't alter my mission at hand. No one fucks with me. Because I don't allow them to. They don't pay my bill, that's why I don't give them any value. It's gotta be that way. It's gotta be unconditionally focused. You know, you're not in here embarrassed. You're not in here this. When I say commitment and belief has to be unparalleled, it's either you're in or you're out. What that means is that if you are in and you believe in yourself, no one can change that. The weak motherfuckers of the world are committed when everything's in a perfect setting. But as soon as things get hard, they start having doubts. And why are the doubts? Not because they're failing, because other people are saying stuff and they're giving value to these third-party people as if they're gonna help them. No one's gonna help you. No one's ever gonna help you guys. You've gotta help yourself. And I hate to say this, you really can't trust anyone but yourself. And if you trust yourself and you bet on yourself, you'll never lose. But if you start to put someone else's efforts in the equation of success for your own individual path, you're gonna be sadly mistaken on what comes from that path. Bet on yourself, believe in yourself. Don't allow anyone else's opinion, voice, actions to dictate what's going on. Because the further and further and further along the path you go, and the closer and closer you get to the end goal, that result, you're gonna see more and more people start acting funny around you. Winded, tired, you know? All these are attributes of coming into the gym and going through failure. This is the sweat, the breathing heavy, unable to do a lot of weight. All signs of failure. Failure, failure, failure. Failure is your best friend in here. Without failure, there is no success out there. The failure, this shit in here, the sweat, equity of life, When you do it in here, it produces, it dries, and forms a foundation of strength later. You won't get stronger playing it safe. You gotta have calculated risks in life to get the rewards.
What if is the worst question you can ever ask yourself. I failed. It's 1,000,000 times better than what if. Because that motherfucker got up and did something, showed up. 10 times more of the man and says, what if? Fuck what if, man. What if is an ongoing debate inside yourself that you can never come to conclusion on. I got up and failed, at least I know. Otherwise, what if every minute of every day for your existence, battling inside your head, trying to turn off the voices, but you can't. And you can't do anything about it because the opportunities, the window of opportunity is closed. There's nothing you can do but sit back and wonder, what if? Nope, don't like that, man. I'd much rather take the gamble and lose.
That's every fucking day. That's how you put yourself out like that. It's never half-assed, full steam ahead. Mach speed is what you're going for. Why? Because we are what we repeatedly do every day. Every single day. Our practices are not for the game. This is our day. We are what we repeatedly do every day. Therefore, excellence that we're striving for every single day. We wake up early, striving for it, pushing for it, giving it all in our workout every single day, striving for excellence. We are what we repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence is not an accident, but a habit. It's habitual. It's in us every single day. The people that are top movie stars over and over and over again, that's not lucky. They're not lucky. They train it to win it, to earn it, over and over again. Because they're that good. No one's better than them. And they don't give them an inch. They kill themselves every day like this, so that distance between them and their competition fucking grows. Can't say enough, guys. You are what you repeatedly do every day. So whatever you're doing is what you become. If excellence is something you're striving for, then it's not an accident, it's a habit.
Sure, the sawdust days. Continue to work it, continue to work it. Don't listen to the neighbor coming over, wondering why you're doing it. You believe in what you're doing. Continue that course, believing in the worthy cause, the end state of it all, knowing that the pressures and the problems coming are welcoming. Those are the situations that are going to formulate and mold you into the person you want to be. Accept this as the reality. Sacrifice this day for the investment in the future of greatness. When you're doing a set, and you're sitting there and you're pushing, man, you're fucking hitting hard, man. You're like, man, I don't know how many more I can go. You're like trying to, you know, and then you finish it and you're like, no, and then you go for 2 more and you get it. You come off the bench or whatever else apparatus you're on. You sit down. You got a pump in your arms, your chest, whatever else. You can't buy that pump. You got to earn that pump through hard work. You went beyond your current limitations and your muscles are sore now. That pumps blood, they're ripping of the actin myosin filaments in there, bleeding, creating demand for it to grow back stronger to the point of origin, elongating the sarcomere, the muscle belly, growth. That natural high you feel as you sit there after hard work, the pain you felt. Now, a few seconds later, pride. You said you were going to do it, you did it, and you exceeded your expectations. Even though your body was shutting down, maybe your partner, whoever it was, pushed you past those 3 or 4 reps, and you did it. Now you sit there, triumph. Even though you have another half an hour, 45 minutes left in your workout, you're still all about it, man. Energized to continue the workout. When the workout's done, energized, motivated. You came in here for a mission, you checked the box, achieved the mission, motivated, come back again, do it another day. All we're doing is we're focusing on the daily task, not the end state. Finding value in what we're doing right now. We don't need a title, we don't need money, we don't need anything else to give value to what we're doing. It's an intangible value. You can't go buy it. You have to earn that motherfucker. And when you feel it once, you don't know how to live without it. That right there is the fucking block that builds empires. The belief in what you're doing pays off. What you're doing provides a purpose, provides a result. And when you figure that out in the fitness world, you get the fucking body.
Not a matter of if, just when. How harder you train, the faster it comes. You start to understand that. You're willing to pay those payments of sacrifice and due diligence, sweat equity on a daily basis, and get that down payment today because the future investment tomorrow is so bright. No longer are you going to wake up the same person. You're changing the mainframe. You're becoming that person through payments of this shit. The sweat equity. You own that. No one's paid you a fucking thing. That's actually cost you money. The gym membership, time, and everything else. Investment for some other end state. Obviously health. But could there be a financial state? There can be. But it has to work on the same, module of success that you did to transform your body. Once you've transformed your body, you found value in what you're doing every single day to create the end state. You got lost and fixated on the mission at hand every day. And every day you did it and did it and did it and did it. Never even looked for it. And one day you popped up for some air and looked, oh my God, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. And fucking hey, there you are, standing in the mirror, people taking pictures of you and stuff, want to put you on covers and campaigns and all stuff. This money's coming in. Wow, you're like, holy shit, what happened? Because you stood for something. You had character. You walked what you taught. And here you stand, fat fucker to now motherfucker of inspiration. That wasn't a quick fix. That was years in the making. And through those years, it wasn't about, now that you got some money, your most valuable asset is the perseverance you learned along the way, which is now also bled over to all spheres of life to make you more successful in your relationship and your business career and everything else. But let's say that business career now all of a sudden, because you love this so much, like Jobs did, and Buffett did, they loved what they did. Now I want to do that every day. I want to wake up every day and do what I love. How fortunate is that? Oh, you must be so lucky to be able to do such a task that you love every day, because most people hate their job. Bullshit. Those are the servants of the world. You do not have to be that person. You can unleash that layer of society's paralysis and become the motherfucker you knew you could be. No one's going to give it to you. No one's going to give you the encouragement for it. You got to find it from within. The belief of your fucking self. And once you have it, guys, let's jump forward. Once you have that belief, let's say you can figure that belief out. That's so strong that it overrides the crowd's disbelief, the adversities, anything. You welcome that shit, because that right there is supposed to fucking happen. Because without that kind of abuse on you, you will not become the battle-tested, proven champion that holds the title, that has the value of the title. You never become what a Ranger tab fucking means. You must go through those ends. Hit rock bottom. Your worst hour of despair becomes your best as you get back up. You learn from that. And then you continue to put one foot in front of the other. But it's not work, it's love. Because what you're going for is what you believe. Once you believe in something, guys, then you can actually begin to have a career in any endeavor. But if it's a fitness endeavor, let's talk about that fitness endeavor. The fitness modeling endeavor. How to find value in that. First of all, you're selling something eventually, right? So, would you buy it? Here's a question. Would you buy what you're about to sell? Well, in order to buy something, right, there has to be value. For me to spend my hard-earned money into something, there must be some form of fucking value. The credibility, the value behind it. I don't want you to plagiarize something. I don't want you to copy or duplicate whatever's already been done. I want you to be a fucking original. How about that? Scary, but how about that? Can that happen? Sally or fucking Sandy, whatever the fuck these people are, they're hiring you. Believe in you. There's responsibility there. It's not a paycheck. They aren't clients. They're family in a way. You gotta see it that way. You gotta find value in them, value in yourself. That value creates a success module. You train them because you've already done it. It's already been battle tested. It's proven. You're not gonna give them bad information, a bad diet, bad sleeping patterns. What you've done has transformed you. That's why they wanted you to train them. You're not there looking at the clock hoping to go home soon. You're there as long as it takes. Because by being there, you're feeling more alive. You're finding motivation through their success. You're available 24/7 to help them create themselves. And as they create themselves, you're filming them. You're taking pictures of them before and after, in between, videoing it, learning how to edit the videos down to make it an inspirational piece. Because once you transform that person, Samuel, you have one means of credibility. Boom, webpage. There it is. Sandy, A to B. Holy shit. Written testimony of who she was before and who she is now. What she's doing in her life before and what she's doing now. Wow. Totally different. In order to do that, you have to have value in who you are. You can't look at the end state of the paycheck. You have to look at the daily task of transforming somebody. I build my foundational fucking value that stands the test of time. I'm not here to make a buck. I'm here to make a fucking difference. That has to be your module. Just like it was for you to transform yourself individually into something of value that you saw in the mirror. Every day you saw value in that. You must seem to have that same philosophy in a business sense, financially, to find that security financially. You must see your clients not as a paycheck, but as an individual. Another person of credibility, another piece of responsibility of you, to see it through with them. Because guess what? If you fuck them over and they don't get the results, it's an anti-credibility. And in this world where everything's viral, don't think if you start to build your system and they catch wind of your success and they got a pissed off attitude for you because you shortcutted them, that they don't just fucking start blogging everything on how much you suck. The basis of everything here, guys, is finding value. No one's going to buy shit. It's about value. Once you have value, then you get credibility. Credibility is more covers, more commercials, more contest wins or placements in the top 5, more clients that have transformed. All this stuff is what people are dying for. The truth. When it comes down to it, and it's not just about, creating value and money and a financial state from a fitness genre. It's whatever you believe in, whatever you're passionate about. You can make that a career. If it's built the right way, if it's built with a belief, what you're doing provides a service, fills a void in society. You do it right, and if you're building furniture, every single thing is built right. That furniture's strong. One day they'll sell it 300 years from now as an antique. It's still there because there's value in it. Because you built it. You created value. And what you created there isn't a duplicate. Isn't a copy of something else that's already been in society. Like my website came out for the value of giving back the truth of what the magazines and the commercials and all that bullshit isn't giving you. That you can get the success, but it's not a quick fix. It's a long-term thing that you have to work your ass off for. But when you get the success, you got the world with it. Because up here, we just create it. And the body is just a representation of how pure we are up top. You can create all that stuff if you have value. And when you have value, products sell themselves. When I say success, should never speak for itself. Someone that goes around and says, oh, yeah, I'm all this and I'm all that and everything else. Well, they just cheapen the accomplishment altogether. If there's anything of value, it will speak for itself. You don't have to talk about it. If you build something, a furniture piece of value, because you believe in the craftsmanship and what this thing is, if you do that right, you value that, then they will grow credibility, just like Nike and Prada and Gucci and all these other fucking companies, Ferrari and shit. You pull up to a valet with a Ferrari, that motherfucker parks that right by the door. You pull into the fucking valet with a bicycle, who knows where the fuck that goes? Because they don't value it. There's a name that doesn't need to be spoken. Ferrari. Whoa. Fucking put it right there so you can keep eyes on it. That's nice. A furniture piece. Value, man. Stands the test of time. Boom. I like that, man. Hey, that's a great piece of furniture. I'm looking for a coffee. Hey, call this person. Their shit is solid. Hey, you looking great there, Joe. How are you getting in great shape? Hey, I went to this trainer, man. He fucking was with me every step of the way. We're friends now. He's part of my family. Man, I'm in great shape. My whole life I owe to him. I fucking value. Not money. Create the value. You no longer have to worry about the money. It comes, man.
People start talking, word of mouth. Success speaks for itself, credibility. That's who you are. That's how you walk every day. In the storms of life and the sunshine of life. You believe in something. You're not looking to get the prize today. You believe the journey's worthy cause and you get it's a winnable fight. So winnable that you're not going to do that job even though you could use that $1,000. At the end, it's going to rob you more than it's ever going to pay you. I can't do that. It doesn't fit my module. Because before I start the endeavor, I built a mission plan of success on what will get me there. And that motherfucker doesn't fit into it. Fuck you and your jeans. You think I wear those jeans anymore, by the way? Fuck no. Because they lost value to me. See how fast that happens? $1 bill and $100 bill made on the same material substance. The raw materials are worth the fucking same. But one is worth more than the other. Perception of that value. Perception is easily destroyed. That's why when you train a client, you give it all you have. Because that can be an asset or a detriment to your company. You fuck them over, don't give them the love or the true information of what you know because you've already done it for once, you've walked it. So what you are, the subject matter expert, and what you're saying to them, you're not plagiarizing some shit or coming up with something that you've read. You've actually walked it and proven it, it's battle tested. So what you're telling them, if you don't do that for them, then they go around and start telling people what a fucking joke you are. Nike wants to hire you for that thing, but no, a fucking picture of your dick popping out with a fucking Viagra pill or some shit comes. Oh, lost second. You must see the future. And the future starts today in the way we act. The small nuances when no one's looking. The character that's so lost in society must exist in the individual. And you go after something you believe. And then you never work. You never work a day in your life. You just do what you love. Thanks for watching.
Everything you want in life, you can have. You can have all your wants in life. But not 1 second before you stop making excuses for not having what you want. And you get rid of those excuses of life. Get rid of the voices of what everyone else says. Because there's two people inside of you, right? There's a person that everyone else sees on the outside looking in. And then there's the other person. The person you believe your potential can be. What you can see is what you see that you can be. And dying will of the individual to come out. That guy's scary. Too fast is scary. One, it takes hard work. You have to feel like this to give birth to him. You know, it's just, scary for a lot of people. They have to go through, they have to endure that sweat equity of life, dedication and sacrifice, due diligence to see it through. The unknowns of life. It's the path less taken. That's scary. But also, once you get through it, it gets really scary. Because everyone looking at you, who saw that other person, not the person you saw, but the other person, is now freaked the fuck out. Because who the fuck you are now stands there in that dominating force. Who took the advantage of the time they had, and now is reaping the reward of the seeds they planted today and yesterday and the days before, bearing the fruit of their potential, what they can be. No regrets, no wonders of what if. Just damn sure proud and excited of what's gonna come, what's gonna be. That's a good fucking day, man. Don't also think all these critics that talk shit to you, call you names and everything else. Don't think that disrespect isn't just a few degrees separation of true love they really feel for you. But they don't have the balls or the courage to say it to your face. So therefore they mask that love in disrespect tones. Calling you psychotic and shit, obsessed and stuff. Which we all know obsessed is just what the weak call it dedicated. Abnormal, but abnormal ensures there's never gonna be normal. You do a little extra effort here. You take whatever's normal and you do a little extra to it. That's what makes it extraordinary. Look at the wording, ordinary plus a little extra. What's that extra? That's what makes the difference, man. The extra rep. Getting up an extra half hour earlier. Saying you're sorry to somebody one extra time. Those little extras combined to a word called extra with ordinary together to make extraordinary. How about Josh? And you guys give it your all. Like that. When you leave the gym, it is so hard to accept failure. And you push yourself so far, like that, to the point you're almost emotional. When you leave here, failure's not an option. We work too fucking hard for success. You don't get that fire inside to make it happen out there until you go through the fire in here. Leaving it all here, guys. Leaving it all here, expecting it all out there. That's how it works. When you leave it all here, guys, you then have the right to expect it all out there. It doesn't work the other way around. You can't half-ass it here and expect anything but a half-ass life out there. Wake up. That drives the pain, the weakness, the fuck out of your body. Brings in the pride and the strength. Headstrong. We just added fuel to that. We're believers now. We just killed ourselves. And it feels fucking good. The pain leaves. What comes in? Pride. Fucking natural high. That you're actually doing something. You're making a difference in your life. That fuels the fire. To be headstrong, believing in what you're doing no matter what the disbeliefs of the third party subjective losers are out there. That then sends it to your heart. So it beats like a champion. When all this fails, here and here continues the stride past to reach barriers no one's been to, especially you. Path less taken, the one that leads to character, legacy. That's where that shit's found. It's not found sitting on the couch. This shit brings it out, makes you that C4. This is the tension, the pressure of life, combined with inside what's your head saying, your heart's believing. Boom! Birth of a new you. That's fucking living. You know, everything's mindset, man. And if your mindset is so weak that you're like, oh, it's only genetics can do that, it's only genetics. And you listen to society's rhyme the reasons and the rules of the land as if they apply to you. No wonder you're always going to be a servant here. No wonder. It's not until you say, fuck it. That might be how it's written. It ain't going to be the way it's going to go down, though, for me. You got to rewrite your own history in life, man. Stop listening to what everyone says is the way it is. Fuck's sake. All right. Society's finally waking up. Gonna get something done today. It's about time, man. It's funny how, and it's really true, the world rotates around the sun. Sun comes up, sun sets. Agriculture, environment, everything has grown, and there's a birth and a death every day around the sun. You know, and everyone gets up during the morning hours and goes to sleep when the sun goes down, and we revolve around the sun, and that's cool, I get it, and that's just nature. Well, the thing is, if you want to get ahead of nature, if you want to get ahead of society, then maybe you need to sacrifice a little bit and get up when it's dark to ensure that your future is brighter than today.